Blessings to everybody. So recently I did a video titled You Hurt Me. And I got some comments, some encouraging words. And I just wanted to break that down a little bit more and really get into it of what that video meant, and some personal things that happened in that video. So the first thing that I want to say about that video about You Hurt Me, is that people people in general as a whole, they will fail you. People will fail you, people will disappoint you, people will let you down. And it's not to put down people, it's just the simple fact that we're not perfect as people. Some people have character issues, some people have commitment issues, some people have issues with following through, seeing things to the end. You know, it's just one of those things. I am a man that stands on principles, and whenever I give my word on something that I'm gonna do something, you know, I do my best to see it through. And most of the time I do. And times where, I didn't hold my word or anything like that, it was always due to, circumstances that was out of my control. So, and a lot of times because that's the type of person and the type of character that I have, I expect to get that reciprocated from people. And a lot of times, I've set myself up for disappointment because that ain't how the world works. There is a you reap what you sow. There is a what goes around comes around. There's a lot of truth to that. But, you should always exercise wisdom along with those things. So a lot of times I let myself down or disappointed myself because of my expectation of others and the lack that I have gotten out of people, or the expectations that I have placed on people that they didn't meet those expectations. I allowed myself to get frustrated, you know, sometimes hurt, sometimes disappointed. And it's not a good feeling at all. But sometimes, I know people can say or think, sometimes it comes from the people that you least expect. And that's where the hurt come in at. With your when it comes to I'm gonna get into the personal side of the you hurt me. So in my short, I was just running down some things uh, about your parents, about my parents, or about our parents. about, they did the best they could, and you know hurt people, and they were young and they didn't know any better. And there's something that I learned later on in life, is that it comes to a point. It comes to a point that you have to take the responsibility and the accountability for you, for your feelings, and you have to stop playing the blame game, meaning blaming others, for mishaps or bad treatment. Now I understand sometimes, in some ways and circumstances, that the treatment or whatever has been done to you is out of your control. You didn't know. You didn't know that when your parents told you, hey, you can be anything that you want to be. As long as you put your mind to it, you work hard, you can be anything that you want to be. Which, in these cases, like I was saying, there is some truth to that. But there's also the truth of that you can't be whatever you want to be. You can't be a bird. You can't be a dog. You can't be a dinosaur. So in a lot of ways, and a lot of things that they taught us, hey, milk does a body good. Sidebar, if you hear any noises, I'm getting unloaded right now. If you guys don't know, I drive trucks for a living, and they're unloading me. But back to the topic. Hey, milk does a body good. Milk, there's some truth in that. Milk does have some vitamin, goodness that is nutritious to the body. But also, drinking milk causes mucus buildup in the body, which, if you have a lot of it, when there's something in the air, it could attach to that mucus and cause you to be sick. So one hand washes the other. But back to the you hurt me and people will fail you. Lessons taught, things that was told to you over the years by your parents, by your peers, people who you went to school with, your aunties, your uncles, your mamas, your daddies, your sisters, your brothers. In some cases, when you're naive, you don't have no knowledge, you don't have any wisdom, no discernment. Yes, these things were done to you. And it causes trauma, or has caused trauma, or, it will cause behavioral habits to play over and over and over and over in your life, in your lifetime. It shows up until you just realize that it's trauma, until you realize you can point the finger and put the blame on others, but it's going to be up to you to heal that trauma, to seek some healing. A lot of times, behind this trauma, we use coping mechanisms to ease the pain, to ease the hurt. Drugs, alcohol, and not everybody always uses that. I would say the more of today, a lot of us is using is sex. Is social gratification, likes, acceptance. People use that for coping mechanisms. You know, uh, reputation, joining organizations and things like that to hide the hurt, to to reinvent oneself, like they're not hurting, like they don't have any trauma. You know, they're just putting on masks and different covers and coats to really hide what's really going on down inside and mentally. People will fail you. Back to my first point. People will disappoint you. Now, there's always two sides to a coin. There are people that will help you. There are people that will encourage you. There are people that are here on this planet to help and not just hurt. There are people here to heal trauma. You know, you can go sit down with, you know, a professional counselor, somebody to talk to, your local, whoever you allow to sit over you spiritually, your pastor, whoever oversees your spiritual life. But ultimately, I'm going to say, the Lord, our Christ Jesus. He is the ultimate healer because people will fail you. He is the only one that will not fail you. He disciplines. He will tell you no. When you ask of him for some things that's not in his will, he will tell you no. Or he will tell you it's not time. But he will never disappoint. And once again, like I was saying, you can disappoint yourself because you get emotional or caught up in your feelings about something that has been done to you or something that's not going your way, that's out of your control. Speaking on a higher level when it comes to God, but bringing it down to an everyday living situation, even with people disappointing you or telling you no, or you're not, or people not seeing things your way, or things not going your way, you can allow yourself to be disappointed and be wrapped up in your emotions. So you have to take the accountability to seek healing. You have to take the accountability to know how to forgive people. Like I was saying in my short video, forgive your parents. Forgive others that disappoint you, hurt you, cause trauma. Because if you don't, you're going to sit in it. And if you sit in it, it's going to manifest into something else. It can manifest into some hate. It can manifest into resentment. And these are just stumbling blocks or hurdles that you're going to have to jump over or get over or conquer. These things will always arise in your life. But these are things that you have to conquer. These are things that you have to defeat. Or it can keep you stuck. It can keep you stuck mentally. It can keep you stuck with a hard heart. It can get you out of alignment with the kingdom, with God's kingdom. It's easy to get out of alignment, and it's very hard to fight back and get your way back in. It can be done, you know. It definitely can be done, because I do it all the time. I find myself off track, back in the wilderness, not in communication with God, or why this had to happen, why that had to happen. But to the people, the everyday man, your sisters, your brothers, your loved ones, your co-workers, your boss, your manager, you know, you have to use wisdom and you have to use discernment, you know, and learn from those situations. And that's where the wisdom and the discernment come in. Because you can cause some trauma into my life. You can hurt me. But once I get the wisdom and the information and I learn from it, it won't happen again. It won't happen again. And ultimately, you know, through the will, not to say that it won't, not to say that, you know, circumstances and situations won't present themselves, because they will. Because they will. But you take those things that you learned, you take those situations, you take those past experiences, the hurt, you heal from those past experiences. And you learn to just move on with grace. You learn to ultimately give that hurt and that baggage to the Lord, and let Him carry it, to lighten that burden off your shoulders, and to continue living your life joyously, happy, you know, through the nasty divorce, through the abusive girlfriend, the abusive boyfriend, the abusive grandmama, the abusive parents, the gaslighting, the lying, the hurting, the beating. God can heal. And you learn, I don't have to take that. I forgive you, because I don't need that hurt. I don't need that hate to fester on my life or on my heart. But don't get it twisted. Just because I forgive you don't mean that I'm going to continue to give you a pass to continue doing it. I will dismiss you out of my life, because God will, He will honor that. When you decide to say no more and dismiss somebody out of your life that's not good for you, or not to be on that road and that journey that you on, He will bring somebody into your life that's good for you, that's going to help you on that road, that can walk with you. So, I just wanted to elaborate a little bit longer. I hope that this video blesses somebody. I hope that you gain some wisdom, some insight from this. I appreciate all the comments that people made. Make comments, share the comments, because you may never know, your comment could be a blessing to somebody else. So, comment on the videos, share the videos, like the videos, and let's help and heal each other. Stay blessed. I'm here to help, not hinder, and we're going to continue to let them speak.